Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy Marvelous Monday. I hope that you all are well. I'm super excited to join you today. I'm more excited because today we have a special guest joining us, and we're going to share some tips and some information for the holidays. And so, if you are a landlord, if you are a tenant, we want you to stop what you are doing right now because we're sharing tips and information of what not to do, of how not to enter into the holidays without listening to and taking note on these rental safety tips on today. I have today with me a very special guest, someone who is not a stranger in the property management space. And I'm excited to introduce to my audience on today. I see that I'm live. If you have questions, comments, remarks, or observations, please make sure you drop it in the comment section. I do want to also share the information you're going to hear, you're going to receive on today is not legal advice. It is the industry's best tips and practices. If you have been following me for a while, you know that this is what I do each and every Monday. Right here, I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Karissa Spann, and I am delighted to be your go-to landlord and tenant expert. And so today, before I get too deep into the conversation and the discussion, I do want to pause to bring in my special guest today, who is none other than Dr. Stinson. So Dr. Stinson, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Landlord and Tenant Talk show with me. I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pause and allow you to introduce yourself to our viewers and our listening audience, and then we'll get into the segment.
Well, first off, thank you, Karissa, for inviting me and having me on. To everyone else out there, both landlords and tenants, just to give you a quick rundown. I am Dr. Stinson. I am a former military property manager slash housing specialist. So even though it seems like there's no tips to have from that perspective, we still deal with things on rental property, private management. So I'm pleased to be here and to share some tips for the holidays. So just kind of starting out, just to begin, let's look at first things. Let's talk to landlords. So again, it's the holiday season. Folks are going to go away. People are going to do things. There's decorations, there's festive parties, and everything else that goes with the holidays, especially at this time and this season. So the big thing, definitely for landlords, is first things first. Make sure you still have a communication line that is available for your tenants. And I say that because even if you're going to take time away, go visit family, do something else, you want to be sure that your tenants have a line of communication that during your time away, which also includes an emergency contact just in case something does happen, because emergencies are those things. But also be able to provide them also non-emergency numbers for anything like maintenance or services that you normally provide for them. So they still have access to those things during those times. For the tenants, on that same note, make sure that if you're going to not go anywhere for the season or the holiday, make sure that your landlords and your property managers understand that you'll still be around the property. It helps them understand who's there, who's not there, and if anything happens, who to contact and what they need to do. On that same note, if you are going to go away for any significant period of time, let them know that as well. So that way, if something does happen while you're not there, they at least have a line of understanding that you weren't present at the time and what they need to do as far as emergency services or anything else and make sure those things are taken care of. But now also with that, be mindful that when you're doing that, that you are sure that they also have a line that they can contact you by if not there. And then on another note, from a safety perspective, just for you as the tenants, make sure that if you are going to be away, that even if unplug those things, those appliances or things that you would normally have going while you were there. Make sure if they're not necessary while you're gone, unplug them. Just again for safety, the issues of fires, flammables, things of that nature. But also, if you're while you're away, also think about maybe putting some things on on a timer, like a particular lamp or a particular lighting. That way, it also gives the impression that while you're away, someone is there. Because again, it's the holidays, and unfortunately, there are folks who will try to take advantage of the fact that that the place that you're at is empty, and they're looking at schedules and trying to figure that out. So it also helps thwart that as well. Moving back to the landlords, we also want to look at for the folks for you also making sure that you maybe do one more safety check during this time to make sure that anything that you're providing from a safety perspective, whether it's fire extinguishers, smoke alarms, things of that nature, that they're all working and in serviceable condition. Because again, unfortunately, things do happen. Lighting, heat issues, the weather, things of that nature might cause the lines to freeze. So also make sure that those things are still working and serviceable, especially for things that you are providing to be sure that the tenants are safe. On that same note, tenants, check the stuff that's in the home for your safety. Do a test on the fire alarms and and the smoke alarms. Do a test on the CO2. Do it. Make sure that the fire extinguisher that you do have is actually serviceable, has been inspected, and is ready for use. Because you never know when you're going to need those things, but especially during the holidays, where when you have lights, trees, whatever it is, candles, festive things might happen. There are times for accidents. Not wishing that on anyone, but again, being mindful to have those things checked and looked at, and that they're working in a good condition for your own safety.
That's good. That's a good point. And you have shared a lot. And I know that it's usually around this time of the year. And although we're talking about tips and safety getting into the holiday, but especially on the East Coast and in areas where people are facing like cold weather, right? It's usually around this time of the year that people are using those heaters, not just plugging up the heaters, but you talked about lights and the Christmas trees. Um, I thought it would be so fitting to have this conversation today because I have had the unfortunate news delivered that someone close to me, their home caught on fire, um, and they were using an extension cord. And I know that sometimes tenants may not think that they may not think about it, right? They'll plug up extension cords, they'll plug up heaters and extra electronics, not realizing that there could be a potential danger or hazard. And so you talked about, for instance, checking the smoke detector. Now, one of the things that I would like to add for tenants is that, and although we are sharing tips today for landlords and tenants, we want people to be mindful of their safety. We want people to be mindful of decor, but we also want them to be mindful to not overload those circuits with
Exactly.
extra, extension cords. And so, Dr. Stinson, from a property management perspective, when it comes to reporting maintenance and reporting those issues early, give me, if you will, one or two things that you have found as it pertains to tenants, helpful for tenants to know when they report maintenance issues early.
Well, the biggest thing I can start off with, even on that one, is the fact that that early communication helps to ensure that the maintenance, the property management teams, the landlords are able to address issues well before things go become larger or more severe than they already are at the present time. So definitely in that regards, because you're responsible for your own safety, but also for the landlords, and you're also responsible for that property because as you signed that agreement, you've agreed to ensure that certain things were in place. So I would also add, check your agreements, check your tenant agreement, check your leases, to be sure what you're responsible for, what you may be accountable for, as well as what things to that you might need to get to the landlord, to the maintenance team early enough so that those things can already be serviceable and ready to go, especially with the winter season and having to winterize things. Some properties are older, so some things need to be turned on. Some things need to be turned off, just depending on the age of the property. So that has been an issue I could say that we've seen many times is, well, we have to turn the boiler on for certain for places for heat. Other places we got to turn things off, and so it's not an easy process. So that if we know ahead of time and early enough, we can get to those things properly so that you can enjoy your season and they can too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so thinking along the lines of property managers, um, or rental housing provider owners, right?
Mhm.
When it comes to holiday reminders, what would be the top one or two tips that you would give to property managers or owners, holiday reminders for their tenants?
First one is definitely considering make sure that you have clear instructions, especially with regards to decor. What can be used, what cannot be used, ensuring how things are hung or not hung, and reminding them also of, okay, if you do these things, you are responsible for this, or what things will be covered, not covered. Because it can be that type of thing where folks will go. Sometimes we love all, some folks love their decorations, but not also is not necessarily the back end of having to remove them or how long they can stay up. So those little reminders at the front end definitely are things that you want to do for the holiday season. The second one, of course, is the safety piece to remind them of the procedures that are needed for safety and the numbers they need to contact if something happens, especially in that time. You want to always keep that line of communication open. And then the final reminder is just for folks to enjoy, have fun, enjoy themselves, and take a refresh just as the same way that you will take a refresh as a property manager or as the owner, because you have to refresh and regenerate the same way they do.
That's good. I like that. I want us to pause. I see that I have more viewers coming on. I see a couple of my students are on. One of the things that I like to do on my show, for those of you who follow, you know that I do this truth or trash segment. So, Dr. Stinson, I'm going to enroll you today. I know that I did not give you
Okay.
a heads up in advance, but with my truth or trash segment, so I'm going to throw out a statement pertaining to what we've discussed today. We're talking about this holiday season. The winter is upon us, right? So I'm gonna throw out a statement or a question, and then I'm going to ask you: do you believe it's truth or do you believe it's trash?
Okay.
You ready?
All righty, let's go.
Okay, so here's the first one. We're going to go through a few of these. So the first one is this: tenants don't need to report small maintenance issues during the holidays. Let me repeat it. Tenants don't need to report small maintenance issues during the holidays. Do you think that statement is truth? Do you think it's trash? And then tell me why.
Trash. And the reason being no different than any other time. Reporting things early enough, one gives a record that it is has been reported, that is noted. It gives the property managers or the folks who are going to do the maintenance how long that problem has been there. So that way you still have a timeline so they understand. So again, even though it may seem small, like I don't want to leave a voicemail about that. I don't want to send an email about that. Send it so that there's a record. It helps cover you.
All right, I like that. The correct response is trash. Good job. Okay, so here's another one. Let's see here. Traveling tenants should always tell their landlord when they'll be away. Let me repeat it. Traveling tenants should always tell their landlord when they'll be away. Do you think that's truth? Do you think it's trash? Tell me why.
Truth. And again, for the same reason I mentioned earlier, especially now. Depending on how long you're going to be away, it's definitely something that you want them to know and communicate. So again, something happens while you're not there, something falls, whatever it is, something breaks while you're not there. Because again, this is the winter season. Lines freeze, hot water heaters decide to go out at the wrong time. You're not there, but it at least gives them understanding that where you are, what happened. So when it covers you, but at the same time, it also gives them understanding so that they have access to the property if they need to get in.
All right. All right. That's the good thing about a correct response. All right, here's another truth or trash statement. Landlords must provide 24/7 emergency maintenance support. I'll repeat. Landlords must provide 24/7 emergency maintenance support. Is that truth or is that trash?
Truth being the fact that one, even if it's not the landlord themselves doing it, that they have a line for a tenant to report those things as it happens, especially for emergencies. Water line goes out. Family that is at the home cannot necessarily take baths, use the bathroom, things that are considered safety and health. You need to be able to address those issues quickly. So there has to be some way for them to contact you.
That's good. That's good. Good response. And so here's the thing. When it comes to emergencies, listen, emergencies don't take holidays off. Emergencies will happen. And so, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so here is our last truth or trash statement for today. Um, Tenants can have unlimited guests during the holiday. Let me repeat, tenants can have unlimited guests during the holidays. Do you think this is truth? Do you think it's trash? Tell me why.
Trash. And I'll say why. Though you will have your friends and everyone else over, you got to think about the wear and tear on the property, what's happening, again, what you're responsible for. If there's damage and there's unlimited gas, past capacity, whatever the issue is, something breaks, you're responsible for it. So also be mindful that you're still on the hook for those things as tenants. Definitely also remember, check your lease agreement for guests. Many of those have clauses that deal with guests, how many, length of time, requirements for that.
Wow, that was a good response. And now I would err on the side of agreeing with you to say that that statement is trash because most communities do have, like you said, some sort of policy. And so it is important for tenants to review their lease agreements because there may be a policy in place for guests, it may be a policy in place for parking. It's always important to look at the lease agreement. Now, that may be true for some others, whereas it's not stipulated, it's not a requirement of the community. So that one was a little 50-50. But I do like how you tackled that one. And I do thank you for your feedback. Listen, y'all, so today we shared tips, we shared information and advice on how to enter into this holiday and this winter season. Some things that you can do as landlords, things that you can do as tenants, how to protect the property, and then how to protect yourselves. We just went through this truth or trash segment, and this is one of my favorite things to do in this um, weekly live where I am just sharing information. And so, Dr. Stinson, it has been an absolute pleasure. It's been a fantastic pleasure having you on as my special guest today. And I know that you have been in this space in the industry for a long time doing what you do. And although we may not specialize in the same thing. When it comes to landlords as well as tenants, the most important thing is treating everybody right, doing the job, getting it done, and making sure that tenants are living in homes that are decent, safe, and sanitary. Would you agree?
100%. Does not matter what industry it is. If it's dealing again with tenants and where they stay, safety and health, and definitely the other part of it, enjoyment of the property itself. is always the key.
Absolutely. I thank you so much. And I thank you for your time. Listen, everybody. Um, My time is up. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. Today, we talked about what to do, what not to do during this holiday season. We've given tips for safety. I hope that you have found this segment helpful. Please make sure that you join me each and every Monday right here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with me, your trusted landlord and tenant expert. And I was joined today by Dr. Stinson. I am thankful, sir, thankful unto you for joining me live. And for those of you who are watching the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I'm going to say bye for now. And Dr. Stinson, I'm going to give you an opportunity to provide closing remarks and a closing statement.
All right. Well, thank you, Karissa. Again, it was been a pleasure just sitting in with you guys, just sharing some of the tips. And again, remember, this is the holiday season. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy each other, community, friends, the whole nine. But also remember, even within your relationships as tenant and landlord, always make sure that the communication lines are open and take time to just thank each other for being there. The tenant, just say thank you for the property because you needed that property. And for the landlord, say thank you to the tenant because without that tenant, you wouldn't be there either.
Absolutely. All right. Spoken well from a vet, seasoned property manager indeed. Again, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're signing off for now. We're going to say bye for now. We'll see you all next week.